Travis and Andrea.
Welcome.
What's up? Thanks for having us.
We're excited to have you guys. Welcome to our estate.
Yes.
The prime estate.
Yes. Well, this is a cool treat because we're doing our Team Prime YouTube video, and for this segment, it's going to be a podcast. But this is the first one we've ever done, and what better couple than Travis and Andrea? Which I feel like for everybody that's listening, I don't think that they know how much history we have. You guys have been in business for how long?
In January of next year, this coming January, it'll be 10 years.
Wow.
A full decade.
Full decade. Okay.
Using the D word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, this
Definitely.
April was 9 years actually. So yeah.
So did you get in business in 2016?
2016.
Which is when I got
Literally
in
right around the
business.
same time as you, yeah.
Why don't we peel back the layers then? And for the listeners here, let's talk about some memories that we've had in the 6 years of building business together.
Oh Lord.
Living life together. I don't know if people know this, but Travis, me and you lived together.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
We were roommates
did.
for 3 years.
3 years. Yep.
3 years, early 20s at that time. So I got in business when I was 19. My first memory of you was my first Tuesday, and you were actually hosting, and you did the whip and the nay-nay.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, that guy's cool. Because the whip and the nay-nay were pretty cool. And
At that time, probably
at that
so.
time,
Yeah.
And I sure as heck was not doing whipping or nay-nays. So seeing you do it at a business meeting, I was like, that's a cool guy.
Mhm.
Maybe a year into the business, we really started to develop a cool friendship.
Mhm.
The term running buddy, somebody that you see that's maybe a little bit more ahead of you. You're
Sure.
like, man, this is a guy that I want to run with.
My favorite memory of you was when we took a photo at the Tuesday night next to the whiteboard.
Okay.
And I stood on one side and you
Yep.
stood on the other side. And we both had a blue marker and we just pointed at the whiteboard. And it was almost like a pact we made to each other.
We
Like, now neither one of us can quit.
The resemblance of that marker and that whiteboard was to share the business at a Tuesday night. We were like, hey, one day we're going to be showing the plans, which would obviously mean that we built some type of business.
I love that.
capability.
Yes.
And you were the first person to share the business opportunity at a Tuesday, which I don't know if you remember this.
I probably don't remember it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
been
We
so
were
long.
living together the night before. You had me sit down. It was only you standing next to the whiteboard and then me in
Oh.
the apartment. And all I remember is you spent 10 minutes talking about Cheez-Its.
Jesus. I think I know why you were talking. No, that was
I don't know if it was your favorite food or
Jesus.
something.
I don't know. I don't know. I just,
Maybe it was like a successful business.
I don't think so.
analogy.
it was probably just me.
example.
I was probably rehearsing with
Yeah. He was-
Keith,
he was
and
trying
that
to
was
break
my
the ice.
opening. It was probably a way to break the ice.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, I don't know if Lewis is going to appreciate how we're going to talk about Cheez-Its.
I've never seen you eat cheeses in my life, so I don't know.
Promise, my memory of you actually showed the plan my second ever Tuesday, and I used to get you and Tyreek mixed up all the time.
Wow.
So
I was gonna say,
is it because they're black? No, it's
We
not.
kind of look alike. We
Like
kind of
you do.
resemble each other.
They're both black.
Literally, I think it's because I don't know, you both talked about sports all the time. So that's probably. But that's my memory, anyways, is the lip thing you can do.
Oh gosh, that's my party trick.
Can you do your party trick?
So this is my party trick. If all else fails, I can make someone laugh with this one.
It's funny because he doesn't do that often.
It's a party trick.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Well, can I once in a while?
To have a lip like that.
All right, so we moved in together. Talk about Laurel Woods.
Oh
Laurel
my
Woods.
gosh, Laurel Hoods. that place was like the crustiest apartment complex. I remember it was so.
We needed an atmosphere air treatment just so that you didn't get secondhand high.
Mm-hmm.
From
That's
how much
true.
weed
That's
people
very
smoked in
true.
that apartment.
Oh, you could smell it in the walls, the
Girl, it's
closets.
bad.
But hey, whatever. It was cheap, right?
How was I as a roommate?
You were just thinking about your business all the time, and we had a lot of fun, man. We played what was it? Spike ball in the apartment.
So we literally, and I have a video that I'll play, but
Yes.
we literally put all the furniture to the bottom.
Yes.
And here's the reason why.
All the
Is
furniture.
we had Lewis coming over, and we were like, well, we need to entertain him. So we had Lewis sitting at the kitchen while me and you were just playing spike ball in the living room.
Pretty sure Zach Green was there too.
I think he was, but we were just going ham, sweating.
Full blown skate top, big basketball shorts. It was so ghetto. I mean, early in my business career, I was definitely a savage. Like I was probably borderline, very little people skills.
I remember Savage Travis. It was my first summit.
Oh, that was your first summit?
And you guys don't know what saving seats were like back then.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's not, we didn't have this like cordial way of just like, you have a section, here you go. No, we had to take sections.
Yeah.
20,000 people. And Travis said, follow me. And there was like 50 of us that's been in the line for 5 hours. Doors open, we go to this one section that we were going to. And I remember we were there, we had this whole section mapped out, and there was this one guy.
That one guy.
And I was trying to save a whole row.
This guy.
And he's like, I'm not going anywhere. And Travis said, you better go somewhere. And then the guy said, I'm saving these seats. And I thought that this is just something that you talk out, but apparently not.
No, it's
Travis-
supposed to be, but
Travis
this guy.
Travis then just said, boom, slam the chairs. Well, what do you want to do then? Let's go. And I'm like,
You were ready to fight.
we're about to get in a fight. We're all wearing suits right now.
I yanked him out of the way by his backpack straps. He shouldn't have had. If you ever get into a fight with someone, don't have a backpack on. That's not going to work.
That's a nugget.
So I yanked him out of the bleachers, and he disappeared into the crowd. Now the panic sat in, and I'm like, okay, that was not a good decision.
Yeah.
That's going to backfire. It's only a matter of time until I get kicked out. His upline walks over. The IBL that I did that to says, this is him. And the older gentleman who's like 50 years old, he says, that's not how we treat each other here. We're all on one team. I don't know if he's still in business.
I
So
wonder.
I haven't seen him on the Platinum magazine, but I have seen you guys.
that's true. Hey,
So,
Starting my journey, I was 21 years old, and my son, Carter, was 6 months old. I was working retail. At that time, I was specializing in phone repairs, laptop repairs, and on the side, I was cleaning commercial and residential windows. My retail store was a front view window, so you can see pedestrians. And I remember seeing Alyssa. At the time, I didn't know who she was. I saw Alyssa periodically walk to the restaurant that was across the street. For some reason or another, this time, she came into the store and she says, do you have any Samsung S5 chargers? I said, absolutely. Just got them in. Come on over. Just got them in.
Fresh out the box.
Fresh out the box. You need a charger with that? I'm doing all the upsells. I'm in sales mode. Purchase the charger and she leaves. And
I'm sure that was a great commission.
Yeah.
it was
10 cents.
10 cents. There you go. And so she calls the store maybe 30 minutes later. She said, this was Alyssa. I bought the phone charger from you and I work at the restaurant. I said, I know exactly who you are. How you doing? Do you need something else? What's going on? She says, are you looking for opportunities outside of managing that retail store? I said, absolutely. Over the next 2 weeks, that's when she starts the process of taking me through the filter. And that's when I meet, lo and behold, Lewis Myers at a Starbucks. What's wild about the story between me and Lewis is I've met Lewis 2 times prior to getting it registered.
No
That's pretty
way.
crazy, yeah.
When Alyssa meets me and sets the meeting up for me and Lewis, when Lewis came to Starbucks, when he walked through those doors, 'cause I didn't know who Lewis was prior to.
Just a guy named Lewis.
He just like talk. I didn't know that was the same person.
Yeah.
So when I'm at Starbucks and I'm waiting for the meeting to start, and he comes through the doors, I'm like, this is the guy I've met twice.
That's so crazy.
And so before Lewis sat down, in my mind, I'm like, whatever this meeting is, I'm doing it.
Wow.
If
Because
that's
at that
not
point-
God, how do you explain that?
Literally.
I was an all-in IBO. I saw the plan on a Tuesday night. I saw Emerald, what we call Emerald. When I saw the 3 bubbles pop up with breaking 3 platinums, and it said $250,000. I was like, this is it. I had very little college education, so to jump into a higher ranking of income, it almost seemed impossible. I didn't have options. I was like, how am I going to do this? Mm-hmm. So when I saw Emerald come across the board, I was like, $250,000. Now I'm going to be able to make the income that I envisioned for my family. And so Lewis said, put a list together. I made a list of 75 name and numbers. I pulled up my laptop, pulled up Excel, and took my phone out, and I had an alcoholic beverage. Nice. And I'm like, here we go. It's time to build business. So I'm just.
The mood was set.
I was in a business mode. I was so happy because I felt so productive again. I was like,
that's cool.
I'm doing something.
Cool. What about the volume side of things? Were you pretty steady with that right off the bat? And was it easy? Was it hard?
Coming into the business, I was making $30,000 a year. Started the business in January. So my first month in business was I paid for the getting started kit, which was $200. I wrapped up all my volume, so $150.
Wow.
And then we had a function the same month going to Dream Conference. I didn't bat an eye because I was fired up. I had a great upline who explained things to me. And I just knew that this is what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I understood that, yes, this is going to cost something to, further my education. And I understood that I'm not really investing into these products. I'm just moving my buying power. Mm-hmm. I'm not losing money.
Do you feel like you knew you could do it?
You break down what we have to do to grow the business. It was calling people, meeting people, and selling products. Well, fortunately, I have a sales background, so it's not like it was foreign to me of this is how you drum up new business. If I didn't drum up my own business to get phone repairs, I was already meeting strangers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was already networking within my circle of influence. If you have a broken phone, if you have Verizon, you come to me. What worked for me was I came into the business not caring what people thought.
Nice. That's good.
I was already, my fear of rejection was very minimal because I was already accustomed to it coming into the business.
Yeah. What I was going to say to that is, because I remember being 21 when I got my business started. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, I was probably one of the most ambitious people in my friend group. Mm. Not to say other people weren't, but I was more ambitious just because I was ready for that next level of life. So I think there's almost like that sense of confidence and that sense of like security when you go to your first business conference as a 21, 22-year-old. You're like, I'm doing something big. Mm-hmm. I'm doing something none of my friends are doing. And I'm wearing nice clothes. Like, you feel important.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point that you bring up too, of just like that excitement, because I look at my journey and I'm like, I never really questioned anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Function, I'm there. Yeah. Make a list, I made a big one. You want to make some dials? Make some dials. You want to do this with me? 100 PV, I'll figure out how to do that. And I really feel like that is the answer, is you just get caught up in the excitement that's around you. Being young, that was kind of our strength, is we came in, this is new, and if this is what everybody's doing, this is what I'm going to do. And you made that list of 75, young and dumb. You know what? That is the most important thing that I think led to our success in this business, is we were young and dumb, and I wasn't smart enough to know that I may get rejected if I made a big list. You're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. You made a big list, and then it actually worked out. You got some IBOs out of that.
So I remember him calling me and asking if I was looking to make extra money. And I was like, yeah. And I remember at that time I was in transitions. I was in between jobs, and I was going to start working at Wells Fargo within the next month. I was 18. He's like, when are you able to meet? And I told him, hey, I'm actually going to the mall right now with a friend. If you want, just meet me there. And you met me at the food court and showed me the business plan. Hey. And all I really remember from it was, you'll get paid to shop. And I said, that's it? He goes, yup. And I said, all right, I'll do it.
It's the best way to show the plan. Yeah.
Oh, then that same day, like just maybe an hour or two later, you said, all right, I need to get you connected with Holly, Lewis's wife. And she literally did the follow-up with me that like an hour or so later.
No way.
What was your business attire to that meeting?
Oh Lord, I was wearing leggings, belly shirt, or what is it, crop top. I had my belly button piercing showing. I was looking like an 18-year-old. Yeah, I was looking like an 18-year-old. Yeah, and so I don't think that was the great first impression when Holly saw me. But I mean, hey, I'm here today. Said, it's gonna be a lot of hard work, and I was like, yeah. I was always a hard worker. Like, I was never afraid of that. I grew up working hard. I started working when I was like 14 or 15. So I was never scared of it. I was looking to make money because at that time, I was living at my aunt's house. So I was like, I want to eventually get out on my own. So I was just ambitious to do anything. I got registered like the next day or two. It was that same weekend. And then, so I got registered and everything before my even first Tuesday meeting.
Wow.
And so then I remember once I went to Tuesday, that's when I was like, this is bigger than I thought. It's not just some little membership where you shop and get paid. Like, I was front row, saw Lewis showing the plan, and I'm like this in the front row.
My first Tuesday, Lewis showed the plan.
Yeah.
I
don't know why y'all do that.
Pissed.
You can't put the short people on the front because you got neck problems. I tell Travis, I got with Lewis talking, I got to be like 3 rows back minimum, so that when my neck I don't come back home. So I would say Tuesday is when I really realized, okay, this is bigger than I thought. Like, I saw the room. It was probably about, 50 people at that time, give or take. So I was like, oh, this is bigger than it. To me, 50 people was big.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we're doing something.
Wow.
And the first year was a lot. I remember I was just like Travis. I think I was really also intense as well with building the business single. And I didn't really ever look at that as a disadvantage. I was, I never was like, oh, I wish I had somebody to build it with. I was just like, I'm going to build my business. And I had Travis, Holly to help me. Lewis played a big role as well during that time. And I only missed doing my volume 1 month. After that, I was always 150. And then within the first 6 months, I was core 300. And I've been ever since.
You were 18 when you got your business started. And 150, I mean, that's not, for an 18-year-old,
right.
It's I don't want to create the excuse of it not being easy, but when you're brand new to it, especially in your first 6 months, making that a habit, it is an adjustment.
Yeah, I think it was a very simple decision for me to do the 150 because I was always told this is a standard that we hold. Holly always helped me to figure it out and get your 150 done. This is just what we do.
Well, Alan says you do not have a business if you don't have volume.
If you can't even do your volume, I mean, why are you doing anything else? Like, that's the easiest thing we can do.
You have 100 people on your team and 0 points, you're going to get nothing.
Absolutely. And so what made me decide to go core 300, because core 300 was always advertised for couples, right? 2 people, double the volume, double the stuff that you need, which makes sense. But at that time, Curtis and Dina, Lewis and Holly's upline, they were coming into town and doing like a big breakfast. And they said for all the people that do 300 points this month, we get to have breakfast with Curtis and Dina.
I remember that.
Yeah, were you there?
Yep,
See?
I sure was.
Yeah. And tell me if I'm wrong, Keith, but I think that was a small group.
It was.
That was what motivated me. And once we went core 300, I was edified so much and like I was getting so much congratulations and all that stuff. I didn't want to step down from that. I was like, oh, I hit this. Why would I want to go back down to 150?
Right.
And, I was just so determined to get my core 300 done. And, like you said, I didn't have all the money in the world. I was living with my aunt. I was working for a bank at that time, but still, you didn't make much money working as a teller. It was bare minimum. And so, again, I just didn't want to step down from that. So I had to make a little radical decisions. Like, at that time, my aunt told me that I had to move out just because she had family coming in and they needed my room. And so I had the brilliant idea of like, hey, I'll just live in my car for a couple months and keep doing my volume.
What kind of car were you driving?
Mazda Protege 3. It was a little blue
So it was
thing.
just you and your 300 PV worth of products just living.
I had my double X because that had the most PV for your most bang for your buck. So I had my my XS and double X.
I want to circle back to that because you were 300 PV, but you didn't make excuses. And obviously you wanted to continue to get edified for that. But I think there was a part where you're like, you know what? I am a player on this team. I'm an impact player on this team. despite you living in a car
Mm-hmm.
and despite your circumstances, really, you still got it done.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, I don't want to say you were at rock bottom, but girl, I don't think I was.
That was,
like,
I don't know
living
what
in my
else.
car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't even have a car, so I've been living on the street under a bridge doing my 300
Yeah.
PV.
Hey,
But
you still get it done.
I would, yes.
That just looks like
but-
a vendor event.
No, just set up a little table.
2 a.m. under false start.
24/7 vendor event.
This is always doing this good.
Yeah.
Lord, well, it's because the table's not bad.
Yeah.
But what was your mindset? Because that absolutely amazes me that you didn't allow your circumstances to dictate how you built your
Mhm.
business.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm just not one for excuses because I'm like, if you've done it before, you can do it again. You can figure it out.
That's good.
And I think I always wanted, like deep in my mind, I wanted to make excuses for it and not do it. But I was like, no, I can't do it because I just didn't want to let myself down either. Like I knew that I could do it. And I knew it was for a short season of time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but during this time, which I guess you could say is probably the lowest part of your life,
Yeah.
you went 310.
Yeah.
1,000
yeah.
points.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible because it's just a testimony to this business
Mhm.
that your life circumstance
Mhm.
really does not dictate
Mm-mm.
how fast you can grow this business.
Mm-mm.
Because all it takes is do your volume, sample products, and make customer sales, and then share the opportunity.
Mhm.
And the people you're sharing the opportunity with and people who buy from you don't ask you, what's your living situation?
Right, yeah.
What's your finances look like? Now that your people that you're sharing the opportunity do want to know,
Mhm.
well, how are you doing 100 points?
Mhm.
Are you doing the volume? And so you are a great example, and you built your business in spite of what's going on. You didn't
Yeah.
make that your excuse. You're like, this is temporary,
Mhm.
but I'm going to focus on the solution.
We get married. The wedding was, both of us were heavily investing into our business. So our
Mhm.
wedding was very minimal. It was at a restaurant. We rented out the top floor. I did the best I could,
Mhm.
and it was 10 people in attendance. That's
Mhm.
all we could afford. And we started our journey as a married couple building the Amway business.
I know we don't typically talk about the night of the wedding, but I was
I gotta
actually.
hype you up. I'll hype you up. So we were roommates and got married, and my planning was horrible. So I texted him the day of, maybe within a few hours.
Right
Keith,
before you went to your wedding.
on the way to the wedding, I texted Keith. Said, "Keith, can you please do me a favor? I need you to run to the store and get petals
The rose
and get the
petals.
rose petals and candles. I need you to make the apartment look great.
You
'cause
did that, Keith.
I forgot I have a thing called a honeymoon."
A honeymoon night.
Yeah, and so Keith goes out. I only texted him one time. He texted back and said, "I got you."
Oh.
Didn't even ask a bunch of questions.
You did the assignment.
He just knew this. I put this pressure on him to make a wedding night
Keith said,
amazing.
I said, let's get to work.
And so we're back home in 4 hours, and I'm opening the apartment door. I'm like, "All right, Keith, here you go. It's gonna work." And it was the most beautiful layout I've ever seen in such an ugly apartment.
it was nice.
I get the text, I'm like, all right, I'm going to make sure I pull through. So I grabbed the rose petals, grabbed some champagne, and I just remember me laughing to myself while I'm on my hands and knees, making a path from the door leading to your bedroom. It was like this, it was a little thing. I'm just like laughing. I put on jazz music because I know Travis likes jazz music. I'm like, all right, I was like, I'm really setting up my man right now.
Where'd you go that night? Just Saks or
I
something?
was about to ask,
I
like,
probably
where
hit
did
You
you
didn't
go?
stay there. You
Did not stay there.
Okay.
But I literally put the rose petals, and I'd make I love you letters out of the rose petals on the bed.
It was amazing.
I
bro.
set the
It
whole thing
turned out
up,
good, yeah.
and I was laughing to myself like, what a memory. So
We got married around 4,000 PV, just to
Yeah.
give some perspective. I was a single 4,000 officially.
Yeah. And my group was 1,000 PV.
She was 1,000
Yeah.
contributing to that, and that's when we merged our businesses. So
Mhm.
we got in lockstep with Lewis and Holly, and we had a game plan from going from 4,000 to 7,500, which we executed flawlessly. It was amazing. Lewis built some depth. Me and Andrea continued to help other people get with, and it was just a well-oiled machine
Mhm.
from 4,000 to 7,500. And we got 13 deep in an organization. It was just really fun. There was at the time, Alan and Michelle didn't have any recent silvers. And so it was a battle cry. Lewis and Holly were talking to Alyssa and us about this is your moment to, if you want to separate yourself on the Leininger team, this is the time to do it. We were excited about doing it to make our upline look good and our upline look good. Yeah. It was very little to do with it. We were just the recipients, but it was like, man, if we do this, finally, the Myers team, now we can definitely be noticed. You know, it's like they can't ignore us now, Lou. And then we held that for 12 months. It was not easy, right? You know, going silver was
during COVID too.
Yeah, because
yeah, that's right. And I was pregnant.
Andrea was pregnant.
So we went Q12 when Sophia was a baby.
And Q12 being 7,500 points for 12 months straight.
Yes. Yeah. So she was pregnant. Life was not perfect. Same bills. We're making $2,300 a month with an Amway business.
Actually, y'all's lives were very far from what would typically be the perfect scenario. Yeah. You guys had all the odds against you, really.
Yeah,
recently married, kids.
And how old were you guys?
24, 21.
I don't remember.
24.
That sounds right.
24 and 21 years old.
Yeah.
7,500 points, and you carried that for 12 months. Probably, how many people were on your team at that point?
The highest numbers that we've taken to a conference was 44.
44 people.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, 44 people to a conference in the seats. Really a good feeling of going to be in a platinum qualification with these kind of numbers. It was like the plan's working.
So that year of going Q12 at 24 and 21 years old, how much did you guys make that year?
That year we made $59,000. $59,000 in our Amway business.
You started your business. You only made $34,000.
$30,000.
Yeah, I made $30,000 with 3 streams of income. Started the Amway business and made $59,000.
How many years later?
3.
Wow.
And so the Amway business replaced 2 incomes, 2 of my income streams
in 3 years. There's also a pretty cool bonus that you got. Talk about that going Q12.
Yeah, we got a Q12 bonus. They took the money that would have gone to the trip and added it to our bonus check. So what would have been a $20,000 check was actually a $22,500 check.
That came in 1 month?
1 month. October.
1 month.
October 2020, during a sensitive time in the economy, our business provided for us.
Wow.
And in 1 month, made over $20,000.
Yeah.
Direct deposit into your bank account.
Yep.
Which was an exciting moment.
Buy? I'm curious.
I think I splurged on a really nice jacket, a purse. Purchase of mine was I got my eyebrows microbladed. So
$800.
That was it was I think it was closer to 1,000. Yeah.
I paid off debt.
Yes.
So when the check came in, I remember prior to the check coming in, I called my upline, my mentor, got a counsel session, said, all right, when this check comes in, what do I do? Yeah. And he said, you should.
Good idea, by the way.
Yeah. I said, this is the most money I've ever seen in my account, yet alone in 1 month. So what do I do? He said, all right, if you want the mature answer, here you go. So I went through my bank at the time and printed out who I owed money to. And I had it all on paper, and it equated to about $8,000 worth of debt.
Wow.
And I was like,
just like that.
Yep, it was $8,000. He said, and I said, here it is written out, Lou. What do I do now? He said, when you get paid, you should give some to your church. I said, all right, no problem. The rest, you need to pay off the debt. And then whatever you have left, you and Andrea should go do something you want to do.
Heck yeah.
So I bought some shoes. I bought a nice jacket that I still have. And it got me through the winter. It was like a big, poofy, furry, hunting-looking jacket. Purchased a firearm, and
awesome.
so we didn't spend too much.
The rest of that, honestly, we were able to use it towards having a nanny for Sophia.
Aww.
So
that's true.
That bought us just under 2 years of having a nanny instead of daycare.
Wow.
Just in 3 years of your Amway journey, you went from in a car, 18 years old. You went from working side hustles to making $59,000, getting completely debt free, and basically starting from the ground floor and being able to build on.
It's exciting. It's available for everyone.
I think your story is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys sharing that.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, we got an exciting segment. We're going to go through what's called What Do You Say to People Who Say? And I just want you to give your initial response to it. Picture me, this person telling you this, all right? If I was meant to do this, I'd be further along by now.
Say, I understand how you feel. You should be a little bit more patient. I think those are not two things to connect. Time and doing something and the results doesn't necessarily mean, it may not look the way you expect it to look.
Success is going to be hard no matter what, and anything that's going to be worth it is going to be hard.
I think that's true.
I like your answer better.
All right, what do you say to people who say, I'll start building it more when life isn't so busy?
I will talk about the perks of why this works for somebody who's busy. Based on their circumstances, I will figure out what's so busy about it.
Yeah.
And I will compare it to other success stories. I mean, a lot of us are busy, so that excuse doesn't necessarily fly. But I would try to figure out what are they saying that's busy. What's the pain point, and then give some perspective on that.
I would say the best time to do anything is now, because the older you get, the busier life gets.
Well, what do you say to people who say it would be much easier if my blank supported me?
The business is simple enough that you can do it just the way you are. It's simple enough. I don't think someone needs spousal support to buy their own products.
They definitely need their parents to be 100% on board, right? And buying every month and telling them they're doing a great job.
Only if you're under the age of 18. After the age of 18, you should probably seek some perspective of independence.
But on the spot, I would say you don't need support to do something. I mean, you don't need support from your parents to go out drinking or to go out partying. So why do you need their support to build a business?
Hey, there we go. Now we're ruffling the feathers here. What do you say to people who say, I'll start buying my own products when I start having a team?
That's definitely a prospect, because they wouldn't. An IBO shouldn't say that. So if we're talking about a prospect, I would say
No, it's an IBO.
I don't know how they got in.
I'm not going to get on the bonus.
I don't know how they got in.
I'm going to sponsor a lot of people, and then I'll start doing my own volume whenever they start doing their own volume.
Yeah.
Or I'll start buying products when I start making money.
Yeah. Well, I think at first you have to be a part of a team before you have a team. So just playing your role prior to other people playing their role in your team.
Juicy.
Good.
Right. What do you say to people who say, I wish I could come to function, but I'll definitely come to the next one?
Oh, that pisses me off so bad. Oh my gosh. I take it personal, because it is such that's where you invest into yourself. So when somebody says that, I have to lean towards going to the function is that's how you invest into you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wanting a group and you're not willing to invest into your education, it just really rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, could we explain to people it's a team aspect? So if you're coach or team captain, however you want to say it, if we're all going to the game and you're not going to the game, you can't. I mean, that really rubs me the wrong way.
But Travis, it's their cat's birthday that weekend.
Bring the cat.
Bring the cat.
Bring the cat. Get in the conference.
You never know when you're going to get that nugget, that breakthrough that's going to move your business forward. So I say just play it safe and go. You never know. You might miss something.
All right, last one. What do you say to people who say, I only know 2 people to ask the question to see if they're looking for opportunity? Only 2 people.
I would first say, okay, great, send me their name and number. And then I would elaborate and say, well, talk to me about your high school journey and college. What were you doing? I would expose them to the fact that they know more people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could also expose them by saying, all right, go to your phone contacts and prove that you only have 2 people on your phone contact list.
That's the name of our business. We want to help this person grow their business. And if they're hesitant because they don't want to hand over some name and numbers or partners, like, you got to express to them, like, this is how we grow the business.
Yeah.
Are you on board or not?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my initial response would be, yeah, right. You know more than 2 people.
Fair.
Turn it into a
Yeah.
almost.
I'm like, liar.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you said, I mean, who did you go to high school with? Who do you work with right now? It's more than 2 people.
Yeah.
And you never know who's looking. You never
That's
know.
it. Boom.
Good.
Well, that is that segment of what do you say to people who say?
In this
That's
segment,
Keith's
it's
energy.
going to get a little heated. There's gonna be a little shade, okay? That's why we got our shades on. But we're gonna call this heated conversations, okay? These are gonna be questions that might sting a little bit.
Okay.
And I just want to hear raw answers, okay? Raw answers.
Let's get it.
Let's talk
All right.
about it.
So talk about it. Why do you think it's so hard to stay focused in our business on the 4 simple habits that build this business?
Yeah, people want to be entertained, and they are. If they're not entertained constantly, then I think they think something's wrong. I think people have replaced patience with entertainment. Like, I have to be constantly feeling something to know that it's working. I'm like,
That's good.
it's like, you got to be patient. Wait, there's a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And people don't want that anymore. They start getting an itch. They get a scratch. So they're just like, oh man, I don't like this waiting part. Let me go back to the beginning of something and start the process all over. And you see that in our business. They get started. My dreams are this. They start fast or slow in their business. Then when the waiting part kicks in, rather that be waiting for a registration, waiting for that sale, waiting, staying steady, like calm down, like sit down and wait to see how this unfolds. They don't like that part. They just jump ship and go do the next opportunity.
That's a good point, because that's something that we see is you get this business started. It's so exciting for a lot of people. This is their first time ever in entrepreneurship. And so it feels so good, the emotion, that high. Then the high starts wearing down. And what I see is they start to see all the shining lights around them. Oh, I'm going to go do this. Oh, real estate's calling my name. Oh, stock's calling my name. Oh, I'm going to go sell this. And their dream gets stolen just like that. I saw something really cool where they talked about, they're like, hey, what should I do to make $1 million? Like, how do I make $1 million? How do I do these things? What type of businesses should I start? And the person said, find one thing and get really good at that one thing. There's a difference between general knowledge. General knowledge is YouTube University, listen to all these prodigies and these mentors. Specific knowledge is how you make it well. You guys got really good at the end.
Next question, okay? All right. Why is spending $300 on products in this business, in our product business, such a hesitation, but yet people will spend $300 at Amazon or Target in a lickety-split second?
Ooh.
I think that's a business self-image issue. I think people who do that have not made the mental click that when they buy something from someone else, they're making them wealthy.
Yeah.
And when they don't buy it from them, they're hurting. I don't think they've made that click yet.
That they're a business owner.
They haven't got to the point emotionally where they feel like they're cheating on their business if they do that. You may not like the idea of, maybe I can get this cheaper somewhere else, or maybe I like the way this one smells versus the way mine smells. It doesn't matter. The fact is, you can't cheat on your business. You run it through your business.
I think if you understood the compensation plan, you would know to buy your own products. It's common sense.
Well, to add on to that, there's people who understand the compensation plan. Like, for example, if you do your 150 or 300 in our world, right? But if I still came in here with a Gatorade, it still hurts my business self-image.
Absolutely.
I think business owners need to get really loyal to brand representation. And if you say if your business provides that product, do your best to not walk around showcasing something else.
All right, last one.
Let's go.
What is your ick? Like, what just makes you cringe? Like, what is your ick? What is your
Give
ick?
an example.
Oh, why don't I go first? But I think my biggest ick
It's okay.
is excuses.
Oh,
I
me
cannot
too.
Oh,
stand
Lord.
excuses. I've never missed a Tuesday in my 6 years of business. I know, well, that is a badge of honor. You know, I'm like,
What about a function?
and I've never missed a function. I mean, granted, there are things that you run by your upline, but I will say this, 2023 was probably my worst year ever in business. And if I would not have gone to Dream 2023, if I would not have faced my hurt of my business, I would not have got my breakthrough. And I don't think that we would have gone to that next level of our business that year. So my biggest ick is when I do hear people make excuses.
And it comes from a good place too.
It does.
Like,
I want people to be strong.
Yes.
When you overcome something, you realize that you just took authority over that circumstance, and you said, I'm not defined by that. And it's the only way you can actually find out how strong you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just a lot. Victim mentality is massive today. And people don't understand how much of victim mentality they have. So the smallest hurdle gets them. Because honestly, like in our business, there's no roll call. So stomach ache, or let's just call it this: I don't want to go, so I'm going to talk. I'm going to say I have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
And go. Man, I wake up every morning for my job,
Right.
and I call out 10 times in my head, but I still have to go.
Still gotta go.
And that's the same decision of like you have to overcome these things. But in our business, when you do that, it's a badge of honor. Find out what you're made out of, and you know that if I could do this, what else can I do?
Yeah.
My biggest ick is people having an excuse when it's like from a financial aspect.
Is the queen herself.
Yes, because I'm like, there's always a way you can always sell something, your products, stuff around your house. There is a way to figure out and how to budget properly.
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest thing is when people are dumb with their money or choose to not invest it or spend it wisely.
Right.
So like if I can't come to a function because of money, figure it out.
Right.
Budget.
Sell feet pics.
You knew this was coming 3 months ago. Why have you not figured it out?
Yeah.
That's my biggest ick specifically.
Yeah, especially whenever like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do volume. I'm not going to do volume on my business this month. But then you look at the new clothes that they're wearing.
Exactly.
Brand new car they got.
Exactly.
Something.
Get rid of your car. Get a beater car.
Go get a freaking horse.
Like, I mean, because what does that matter now, or like what matters in the long run?
My biggest ick is apathetic men. That bothers me so much when I see
that does bother
men
you.
who are lackadaisical. They don't champion the fact that they were on earth to lead a family or lead a group or lead a woman. And in this business, tie that into being a part of a team. Like, don't be apathetic when it comes to showing up to things or adding value, whatever that may look like.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that solves that, we have that solution. Show up.
Show up.
People that are not that way.
I was gonna say, can you imagine if, you know, what all of us when we first got started in business when we were so young, seeing us now?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, like that. It's like that's who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not even close to being where we want to be.
Well, and I think that's like Travis was talking about the beginning, the end.
Yes.
That patience part.
Yeah.
It's they don't understand how fun this has been.
And that's what makes you.
Like, I'm sure when you were in your car, you were probably thinking, how cool of a story will this be?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like,
absolutely.
that is the victory mindset, not the victim mindset. The victim mindset is like, look where I'm at. The victor mindset is like, this is going to be such a cool story because I'm still 3.
Oh, yeah. I was excited to do this. Yeah.
Team Prime, we cannot wait to see you guys. Spring forward. Make sure you're plugging in virtually. And if you want to come to the watch party on May 3rd, you can come on down to South Carolina. We're renting out the whole spare room. Travis, Andrea, do you guys have any closing remarks?
We're so excited for the Clemente team. We're really rooting for you guys. And I just thank you guys for having us on.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute blast tonight. Team Prime, you guys are doing something very special. And just count your blessings. Keep going. Spring forward's coming. Ultimately, Keith, Bethany, thank you. God put you guys in our life for a reason. And it is really cool for us to have a glimpse behind the curtain of how Prime is being run. And I think it's headed in a very positive direction. And so Andrea and I, we love you guys, and we are excited to see you at the top.
All right.
All right. See ya. Bye.